First and foremost, all praises, glory, and honor goes to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Ba'Shem Makaka Das, double honors to the elder apostles at Great Millstone. Taught us the truth. Salutation, all Yakim pushing this word day in and day out, doing this quick lesson in the article dated today. It's crazy, we like halfway through the year already. Seemed like winter time was just yesterday, Tuesday, May the 27th, 2025. About 1 in 4 Americans or Babylonians are functionally unemployed, researcher says. So, this is all done by design, man. While the unemployment rate was that's bullshit. if you got a job, posting flyers or flipping signs, being a sign flipper on the side of the road, they consider that okay, you're employed. It says that's not a measure of keeping up with the cost of living. Another measure of worker well-being indicates there may be greater or bigger cracks in the labor market. So, they're saying it's so-called 4.2, but let's jump down. It says, but another indicator suggests those pieces of government data may be painting an overly rosy picture of the economy. Yeah. And this is from mainstream news. They telling you they lie. A recent report because that's a part of their witchcraft, right? They put the truth in your face and you still won't believe it. From the Ludwig Institute for Shared Economic Prosperity, which says bullshit, the elites. That there's only shared economic prosperity for the elites, man. Then you got your welfare cases, your billionaires and millionaires, and then you got the poor, the rest of the people. Found the true rate of unemployment stood at 24.3% in April, up slightly from 24% in March. All right, so I beg to differ. I beg to say, the real unemployment rate is 30%, man. Or maybe even more, maybe 50%, because ain't no fucking jobs out here, man. Especially with this AI takeover going on. This AI revolution right now. All right. Okay, so this is a good paragraph. The unemployment data as it's put out has some flaws. For example, it counts you as unemployed if you worked as little as 1 hour over 2 weeks. That's the devil, man. The so-called white man is the goddamn devil. It's especially this guy on the left. This is a fucking, y'all know what he is, man. But, that's a typical pompous devil look. All right. So, hey, if you work 1 hour in the past 2 weeks, they count you as employed. So showing you that the unemployment data is bullshit. They do that to prop up these different stock markets, these different, economic outlooks, these forecasts, things of that nature. If the true numbers came out, this economy would have been collapsed, man. And it says, when broken down by race and gender, true shows Hispanic, Black, and woman, or I'll just say Jake or Israelites, and woman workers faring worse than white workers as well as men. More than 28% of Northern Tribe workers and nearly 27% of Southern Kingdom workers are functionally unemployed compared to 23%. So showing Esau catching hell too. And more female workers, around 30%, are functionally unemployed than male workers. That's why you see all these women making videos on TikTok saying they need a man, they need a helpmate, but there ain't no helpmate for them, man. You done got drunk off of the Babylon juice so bad that these average 2/3 niggas don't want to fuck with you. They don't want to marry you. Only thing they want is that box. They don't want nothing else from you because you're just a headache. The typical millennial bitch from the 80s to to the 2000s. Sad to say, now the 2000s woman are the lit bitches and shit. The early and mid 2000s woman, those are the lit bitches now. You know, they're the ones with the best looks. They got their youth, their beauty to the max. They still turned all the way up. It's a whole generation of feminist women, man. The last generation, you get a decent woman, it's a whole, it's probably Generation X, man. Okay. So this is the Lord, sending Babylon to the cooker, man. All right, Babylon is cooked. So I saw this other article. I don't think I did a video on it, but it's an article from the SF Gate, dated last week, May the 21st. So this is, Sodomite, Edomite, Klarna CEO or whatever. This is AI's killing tech jobs now. A new employment model is emerging. So Klarna, the Swedish, I didn't know they were Swedish because I done paid plenty of shits off with Klarna, paying for. You could buy anything and paying for. And then the good thing about Klarna, compared to Afterpay and Affirm, is that Klarna, they don't do the credit check thing like they do, man. Because, your credit may take a hit, especially in these times. You may say, fuck it, man, I'm not paying these credit card bills. And Affirm and Afterpay, they'll decline your application. Like, we ain't fucking with you, but Klarna will. Popular among TikToker users and Gen Z, Klarna, much like Affirm and Afterpay, allows shoppers to divide large purchases into multiple payments. Typically it's paying for. So earlier this month, the fintech company made headlines when several outlets proclaimed that it regretted its decision to pivot away from human work. Yeah, no, they don't regret that decision, man. They done made hella money, shifting to AI model. All right, so their CEO and co-founder said that the company is now piloting an Uber-type setup for remote customer service workers who can choose their schedules and earn at least, 41 per hour. So I think this is in Swedish. I don't think this is in America. This is in, because, I'm thinking about them Europeans, especially, Sweden. Sweden is supposed to be like the greenest place on earth. The most natural place on earth. They don't got GMO foods, none of that shit. Chemtrails and all. Cloud seed, they ain't got none of that shit over there. Because that's where the elites live. They actually care about their people. You got free healthcare out there in Europe. You brothers in Europe, man. You better count your blessings, man, cause all that shit we gotta pay for here, and we got GMO food on top of that shit. All right. So let me get some precepts. Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth. Yeah, when you're a young man, while the evil days come not. So you ain't supposed to come into this truth with all hell. Of course, you're gonna have certain multitudes that see, the power, brothers with the power and stuff like that. And they become a believer in that day, They leave from that doubting time and spirit and become a true believer in that day. But you really, you don't. I mean, you want to be the brother with the power. You don't want to be the guy. Of course, they're good too. We all get the same penny if they're part of the elect. But you don't want to be the guy on the sidelines cheering, yeah, Kwame Asherah. You want to be the guy with the power, man. That's why we doing what we doing, man. While the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, man. So, yeah, supposed to come in, as a young man, not as a senior citizen. How can how can your works be profitable, when you 80, 70 years old, man? Scripture says faith without works is dead, man. How can you be profitable to this ministry, and You barely could get out of bed in the morning, man. Your body just got, 500,000 miles on it. While the sun or light or moon or the stars be not darkened or the clouds return after the rain, man. So, of course, we're going to be dark times, or even this precept can go into, you want to get this truth before the famine of the word hit, man, before all the, well, you can still learn certain breakdowns and stuff, man. You can still build yourself up, man, because, it's going to be go time very soon, man. So, hey, man, while what they call it, the unicorn, while the unicorn is open, you want to get this word, man, because once it's go time, man, yeah. All this game playing, Israelite 101 camp bullshit, man. Starter camp bullshit. It's going to go out the window, man. In the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble, going into these elites and lesser luminaries, even Trump, he's a low-level keeper of the housekeeper. He's a house nigga according to the elites, right? And the star men shall bow themselves. Yeah, these star men, man, they gonna be like women, man. They're gonna be like women. These different guys you see on social media, they benching 405, then get up and shoulder press 405, and throw it on the ground and deadlift it. They're gonna bow themselves, man. These super soldiers. These guys that do anything to go viral, man. Because that's all they're doing it for, man, to go viral. They ain't getting no real, some of them getting endorsements, but for the most part, 90% of them ain't getting no real endorsements out of it. They gotta get up and punch the clock, just like their father. That's the worst life to live. Here it is, you're in the world. That's your whole focus is the world. And working out and shit. And you gotta get up and punch the clock, just like your 2 million followers. You know what I'm saying? And the grinders, here's the point, cease because they're few. Yeah, they're few, man, because of this whole AI takeover, man. Like, I remember a few years ago, it's probably like 2019. I remember I read something. It was like, look, in the times to come, in the near future, your job's going to be dictated. You're either going to tell the AI what to do, meaning you're a programmer or some type of engineer or something. But I think even engineers are getting affected. But let's just say you're a programmer with the AI. You're able to oversee the AI and stuff. It said you either going to tell the AI what to do or the AI is going to tell you what to do. What's the AI telling you what to do? That's these app jobs, man. And that's the type of world we living in now. This is an old article, way back, like 2018, 2019, in the old so-called world, man. All right. Pre-pandemic, not post-pandemic, man. And those that look out of the windows be darkened, man. So, yeah, man, that future economic outlook, man, is looking grim, gloomy, Like, I mean, you're an idiot if you're, let's say you got a child in a high school, middle school, you're an idiot if you're saving up their college fund, because very soon the professor is going to be AI, if this place were to go on, man, everything will be AI, man. And that's why they want to open up these 15-minute smart cities, because, they can use AI to help, police your ass. You're getting alerts after alert on your smartphone from AI, man. Telling you what you can do and what you can't do and how far you can go and what you can eat, what you can't eat. The gym's going to be closing that day. So they ain't gonna be able to tell you your workouts because even personal trainers, man, they not doing good because AI done replaced them. That was like a good job, man. 10 years ago, being a personal trainer at your local fitness club, which that's all the gym is. It's a club for healthy people, man. You know, because what goes on there, adultery. You may be able to meet a single woman, but for the most part, it's nothing but adultery in there, man. Because you got women, they deal. Which I had this happen to me recently. It was an Israelite foreign, nice little broad. I had a nice little rumpkin on her. For YouTube sake, I gotta call it a rumpkin. She had a nice rumpkin on her. But she remembered me from another gym from years ago, and I had to play it off. I really didn't remember her until she like smiled. Then I was like, okay, yeah, that face looks familiar. But I played it off like I remember. You don't want to offend. You motherfucker, especially a woman. She said she remember you from such and such. You don't want to offend her, and she see her choosing up. But then I saw her at first. I didn't see no ring. It's like she had that bitch tucked. Maybe she had it like in her hand, like balled up. Cause I always, size a bitch up, man. I ain't see a ring on her finger. And then, Spirit told me, yeah, just double back, so I double back. She smiled, like, and cause she's working out by the mirror at this time. Double back on her. And, lo and behold, there's a ring on her finger. So I'm like, oh, I ain't peeped that. Congratulations. You don't want to seem jealous or nothing. So, I'm like, congratulations. Showed me pictures of, she said she met her husband in the gym. So she showed me a picture. So, these women do this shit on the regular, man. They'll meet one guy in the gym, they meet another guy. Cause she was on something like, adulterous type shit. She was like, yeah, we could work out together next time you here, next time I see you, we could work out. So, you already know what she's trying to do. So, I just ducked off. I just been ducked off from that gym. But I'll remember her next time I see her. I'll just give her a little what's up and all that stuff. How you holding, oh, you looking great. You looking great. Just give her a little small talk. That's it. And keep it moving, keep it pushing. And it says, I'm going off topic, but the gyms employ a good amount of people. Let's say it's like 20, 30 people per gym that works there, especially like a big gym. Big gym, let's say it's like anywhere from 15 to 30 or more employees there. Small gym, maybe like 5 to like 10, something like that, man. Ecclesiastes 12:4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. And that's what's going on now. The grinding is low, low, low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all of the daughters of music shall be brought low. So that's going into your alarm clock, man. Ain't gonna be no alarm clock to wake you up. Hey, you gotta wake up, nigga. You gotta go to work. You got a meeting today. You gotta get up earlier than, you got this going on. You gotta take your kids to school, drop them off at daycare, then take your ass to work, then get off work, pick them up from daycare. All that shit's done. Like I told brothers, man, I know it's like, look, I can't afford a kid in this place. Daycare alone costs bands a month. You feel me? That's that money that needs to come to me to pay my fucking bills, man. Not another motherfucker bill. That's another motherfucker bills, man. That daycare shit. Fuck out of here. Because these women, man, they don't want to raise their kids. They'd rather drop them off at daycare or grandma's house. That's like, I know that's common. If you got a traditional grandma, I'm not talking about these grandmas that be in the bars and clubs wilding out. Nah, I'm talking about the traditional grandma. And that's rare. That's becoming a rarity Because the grandmas now are like Gen X ladies, you know, and maybe certain older millennial women. They like the modern day grandmas, and them bitches, they like, you know, between 40 and late 50s. So, you know, they still think they got it, man. But you're just a laughing stock, man. I remember one time I was watching this live, it was this younger woman, maybe like between 25 and 30, you know, not too old, but still relatively young. And she was on the live and talking to this young Edomite looking woman, young Moabite looking woman. They're young, probably like no older than like 21, 22. You can tell by the way they're acting and shit. They're acting like hella cheerful, you know, like how young women act, you know, hella cheerful. And the fucking bitch, the 25, she brought her mom on the live. Her mom was look like every bit of like 60 something. And you know what them young bitches did? They just started laughing like uncontrollably. That's it. That's all. As soon as her mom popped up, cause why? Her mom is old, man. A old bottle. So that's how these. That's how people view you, cause you don't have value, you know, as a woman in your age, unless you serving your husband, man. That's your only value you have when you're up in age, is you serving your goddamn husband. You know, or helping out brothers, man. You know, things that's profitable, man. You know, that's your only value. And the way the mom came on the live, you could tell she ain't had no man to tell her, man, get your ass back over here or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't fucking make an embarrassment of my household. Which the daughter shouldn't have did that, because the daughter know. Like, you old woman that's just old and out there, caught out there, man. That's why even the workforce, they won't hire an elderly woman, man, like in her late 50s. Most of these jobs won't, outside of retail. Most of these jobs won't, man. Most of these corporations, these little fucking, you know, office jobs and shit, they don't hire a 60-year-old in there, man, unless she knows somebody in there. They won't fucking just hire her off the street. You know, a startup, you know, imagine a startup hiring a 60-year-old, man. They're like, what the fuck? You're a startup. Why you got a 60-year-old, you know, promoting your fucking company and shit? You know, you don't really see that. Cause there's no value in an older woman. A younger woman, like you got a bad bitch working for your company. Oh yeah, she's gonna bring business. She's gonna bring repeat customers and so forth, man. I know this one store, man. They got this one a Northern tribe woman. She cool though, you know. I always, you know, make small talk with her and stuff. Say hi, how you doing? You know, that's it. I ain't never make a move on her, nothing. You know, even though I could, she always be looking. I could, but I never made a move. You know, she probably thinking, damn, this nigga don't, you know, this nigga don't play. He don't play. Cause he see other bitches in there like me too. And she know they be having their little talks amongst their coworkers. So I know one time at least once my name came up. Not to brag or boast, but that's just the spirit, you know, the Lord got out there. And you know, I know I know it's the business. They always put her in the front, you know. They always put her in the front because she represents the brand well, you know. I'm sure it's niggas in there that see her and they'll just come back just to get another look. Oh yeah, she working today. You know, she stacked in a motherfucker. She stacked. Like, but she like, you know, she gotta get it together because she's still young, like in her maybe mid to late 20s. But she gotta like, you know, if I was her in her situation, her man or whatever. I don't know if she got a man or not. I never asked her. I don't care really either. But you know, if I was in her situation, I'd be like, you know, I let her know, you know, hey, baby, let's try to drop like 20 pounds. I mean, the booty will still be there, you know, 20 pounds less, but let's just get the diet in order, you know, because that's all it is, the diet. Let's get the diet in order, drop them 20 pounds, you know, get you healthy, you know, because like she's like, you know, She ain't too big, but she's stacked though. She probably about like 5'3", 5'4", but she probably like closer to like 200. But it's like most of that weight is like in her booty and her legs. So she can afford to lose like 20, 30 and then still be that and more, you know, like she was in her probably in her few years ago for them kids she had. Cause you know that's one thing about kids; they'll add that extra stress, the extra weight, and then you know she's cooking for the kids, and then she eating some of that shit. So you know she don't want to be blown up by the time you know she get up there in age. You know if this place would keep going, man. So and but they put her in the front. I notice they always put her in the front. You know because she represent the brand well, and she got good personality, women play them little defensive games and shit in there. She like the only one in there that's like don't do that shit to me, you know. So I don't know. We'll see. I just put a claim up on her. We'll see what the Lord has in store in the near future. And it says, and the door shall be shut in the street when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all of the daughters of music shall be brought low. Yeah, the current music situation, man. These YBN, YN, this, YNW, all them niggas is trash. NBA. Which NBA got a few hitters, but as a whole, you know, a nigga have make one hit song out of 100, man, you trash, bro. You know, ain't no classics coming out, man. You know, even the rap, I don't even think rap music make the top 100 or whatever they call that shit, the top music songs of modern day. And it's no rapping, it's mostly like Taylor Swift type music. I forget the name of that genre. You know. So the music is low, man. So that was pretty much it on that. This is Isaiah 19 and 15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt. Let's talk about America, man. No work. No work for America, man. Which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. So it's gonna be no work here, man. Very soon, man. There's gonna be an event that's gonna take place, man. Let me see. It might be some more meat on this here. Let's start at 14. Isaiah 19 and 14. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and caused Egypt to err, and every work thereof as a drunken man stagger in his vomit. So yeah, every industry is cooked right now, man. You know, like that Gen Z say, yeah, that shit is cooked. Well, every industry is cooked right now here in America, man. You know. As a drunken man stagger from his vomit. You know, you see a drunken man. Which I've been there before in my young days, man. I don't do that shit no more, but like in my very young days, when I was in my 20s, you know, there was times I was like a drunken man vomiting and shit. You know, you drink too fucking much, you drink too hard, you're not taking your time, you're rushing through it, you know. And I was just done for it. Like, you know, you gotta have your friends babysit you, get you home safely and shit. That's America right now, man. You know. America's through, finished, man. You know, in every industry. Only thing keeping America going, you know, is the people. You know, it's really the people keeping this place going. The Lord's gonna change the spirit to where the people's, you know, of course, ultimately the Most High wanted to go. The Most High put the spirit in the people to believe in this shit to keep it going. But it's gonna happen. An event's about to happen any day now. That's gonna put an end to all that shit. You know, whether it be a cyber attack, false flag, blackout. They talking about blackouts this summer. You know, blackouts this summer. All right, which that'll be a beautiful thing. They talking about coming June, July, which that makes sense. That makes sense. Blackouts this summer because right now we're in the solar maximum, and the sun gets the most intense. You know, you got solar flares every day and shit, man. Like it's You know, you feeling tired and drowsy because shoulder flare. I don't know. Lately, my body's been getting used to it. I guess because I've been eating. I've been eating more cleaner. So, you know, my body's been adjusting a little better, eating more greens and shit, more vegetables, onions and peppers. So I guess that's, you know, strengthening me. So, but it makes sense that they talk about June, July, because that's when the sun is most active, man. The hottest month of the year is July. So you're gonna have some flares outside of this world. You know, I don't want about to start Lord willing come July, man. You know. And hey man, don't let the power grid come off, man. These Gen Zers, they never majority of Gen Zers never been through a blackout a day. They like never went a whole 24 hours without some type of smart device in their hand, fucking phone or tablet or you know what I'm saying, laptop. They ain't never been through none of that shit, man. Of course, us brothers that's born in the 70s, 80s, of course we remember what it was like. We remember what it was like before the internet and shit. You know, I remember vividly what it was like before the internet. I didn't get my first internet until I was 19, 18, 19, man. I remember them Edomites, them heathens at school. I remember them in the late 90s, they were talking about the internet. You know, them different heathens, the Moabites and shit, Elamites. They were talking about the internet then. Like, yeah, but I got the internet at home. You know, they'll burn a CD. I remember back then you could burn video games back then, like the Dreamcast and shit. Or you know, you could burn video games back then. There was a heathen that sold me a video game for like $5. I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna buy this shit. I think I probably bought like three or more games from him. But why? Because he had access to the internet. He had technology. You know, because I remember that in the late '90s, that's when the video games became disc. You know, and now they doing away with that. You know, disc game and shit. Like if there was a PS6, the next generation console, that shit'll be straight digital. It won't be no fucking physical shit. That's why GameStop getting ready to go out or go under. Um, GameStop, even Best Buy is in danger. There's a Best Buy in a good area around my way. It's right by the University of Maryland, like literally a stone throw. Probably like 10 minute drive, 5-10 minute drive, man. The University of Maryland, that bitch closed. It's right off the Beltway. That bitch closed, man. I think I bought a TV from them probably like, around the time of the pandemic. That was the last time I was really in there. They closed. So that goes as prophecy, man. It says, none shall there be anywhere for Egypt which the head or tail. So no matter if you're a big wig CEO, it don't matter if you're a janitor, branch or rush may do so. Because major events about to happen, man. You know, a T attack. You know, who knows, man. One of these bug out camps, you know, planting pockets. You know what I mean? This is the times we living in, man. In that day, it shall Egypt like talking about America be like unto woman, and it shall be afraid because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, the Lord of armies, which he shake for. So the Lord himself is bringing this calamity, man, this destruction, man. But you know, it is what it is. Hold on, let me get this. Second Ezra 6:22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. So these full storehouses, man, these Costco, Sam's Club, BJ's, and so forth, man, Walmart's, whatever grocery chain you can think of, it's gonna be empty, man. Because when all hell breaks loose, everyone and their mom is gonna be rushing to the grocery store. That's the last place I want to be. Without the power, of course, without the Lord being with me, it's the grocery store, man. You know what I mean? When all hell breaks loose, 'cause they gonna rush that shit, man. You know? And it says suddenly shot it's gonna be quick. Whatever event's gonna happen, it's gonna be quick. And these stores are gonna be rushed. You're gonna have straight up riots at the grocery store, man, over the last bagel, over the last French fry, over the last, junk food, of course. Niggas don't be rioting in the produce section, and I think that's what they call it, the produce section. With the fresh fruits and vegetables. Niggas ain't gonna riot in there. They gonna riot in. Only thing they may riot in the produce is the eggs over there and shit. But for the most part, and motherfuckers gonna be rioting in the meat section, the fucking cereal section, the cookie section, the snack section. You know what I'm saying? So that's the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh, man. Because these people, they're cooked anyway, so you might as well let the Lord, just put the final nail in the coffin, Let me get Isaiah 19:17. And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Talking about America. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself because of the counsel of the Lord of hosts, which he have determined against it. So the Lord's gonna allow these niggas to finally raise up, man. And then you're gonna have brothers raise up too. But hey, man, the Lord, hey, this is the altar, man, because the missiles are gonna fucking hit this place as a memorial forever, man. But it says, in the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. So the Lord's gonna turn these jakes all the way the fuck up on the right hand and on the left. That's why I say niggas, because you want left-handed niggas getting busy too, man. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid of himself because of the counsel of the Lord of hosts, which he have determined against. The Lord's gonna literally raise us up, man. On the right and on the left, you gonna have niggas getting busy. On the right, man, you niggas on the left, you might get a few hundred bodies, but us on the niggas on the left gonna get a few hundred bodies. You know what I'm saying? But us on the right, we gonna be out there getting active, man. That full power, man. That fully activated power. You're gonna be fully active out here, man. Before you even, as soon as you think of us, man, we gonna be there in your living room. Just teleport, man. That's me. I know that's gonna be me for sure. Gonna be doing a lot of teleporting, man. I don't want right to side, get that pop. Be doing a lot of teleporting, just be right there, scare the shit out of you. You know what I mean? Certain brothers gonna be doing a lot of flying. Certain brothers gonna be doing a lot of other stuff, a lot of climbing. I'm gonna be doing a lot of teleporting. I don't want about to say. We'll see. Whatever the Lord want me to do, it don't matter. As long as I get that power, I'm happy, man. As well as the Akim around me. So I'm gonna end it there till next time. Shalom.